Everything goes to chaos without someone. How human order mirrors the universe's tendency to gradually decline into disorder, called entropy. It's one of these man-made truths that is based on something real, one of these almost universal truths, that everything that goes to shit once we, us humans, let go of it. And to some extent this is true, usually, especially for the extent to which we regard everything as something already ordered by man. Like a giant garden, once the gardener is gone, the garden goes wild. From order to chaos within days, weeks, months, years maybe. There are these pictures of what our cities would look like without us. A dystopian future where the New York subway, for example, is covered in green. Utopian futures where nature restores itself. One problem with this approach is the time frame used to judge order, because when it comes to nature, and with nature we usually describe the living and unliving things apart from us on planet Earth, not so much everything else. A rock on Earth is part of Mother Nature, but the same rock on the Moon or on Mars is something almost extraterrestrial. But the funny thing is, the more we widen our perspective, the more we see everything is already organized, even without us. New York will be covered in green, and that's chaos then, but the simple fact someone called Nobody apparently thought up structures and building systems like atoms, protons, electrons, positrons, Higgs particles, maybe on a funny day added the possibility of everything being explainable via string theory. And therefore also the possibility of multiple, maybe infinite realities. String theory, hands-on, here are a few strings. Then New York covered in green becomes a side note, but still there is indeed a point about order made by man. And if we take a look at it, an abstract scientific look, then order is energy. And chaos is less energy bound by and within the order itself. It's a concept called entropy. The more something is in order, the more energy is bound up by the order. There is a case to be made that the existence of entropy plays a major role when it comes to trying to explain the concept of time. Because entropy is something that's not really reversible. The more ordered something is, the more energy is bound up as potential energy. But potential energy in this case is not really equal with geographical energy. Basically, energy bound up by the existence of something in a place where something could fall down to Earth. Basically just the possibility to react to an already existing force in the future, and therefore releasing its potential energy. But potential energy can also be electrical, chemical. Comical, even, is the fact chaos now can be defined by entropy. Chaos is basically a state where all potential energy was and now is converted into heat. With heat, at a closer look, also just a form of mechanical energy. With heat kind of being defined as the rate at which molecules move. But it's not so much the heat itself, but rather the fact that correlating with more heat, there just is less potential energy overall in the universe. And it's almost uncanny how similar this concept is to our everyday lives' concept of chaos and order. Order then is something made by us, by humans, like a child's room, with everything being displaced, existing distant from its original place. Here is a picture of a child room. Entropy at its finest in a messy child's room. From its original place, therefore work is needed. Work called tidying up, like splitting atoms in order to release the binding energy of the order. Just in reverse, tidying up not only restores the order of toys in a child's room, but conveniently also is mechanical work. A side note, if everything is on the floor in a child's room and you actually put it into the place in the cupboards and in where it belongs, belongs, then usually what you do is you move it up. Therefore, it has actually more potential energy, meaning kind of kinetic energy, because it can fall down again if the child takes it and then just lets it fall down. Therefore, we also have a mechanical or kinetic component to this analogy. But conveniently also is a mechanical work. It just doesn't necessarily mean that now everything has more entropy or more energy not stored as potential energy, because this order is totally defined by us. Someone who only eats gummy bears of a certain color might place the order, the other ones separately from the ones of his favorite color. But the thing is, apart from this single human, probably no one would order these gummy bears exactly like this, and therefore the rest of humanity probably doesn't really care about this particular order. And neither does the universe.